Basketball is such a great sport to photograph. There are lots of options for dynamic images that capture the fast-paced, high-flying action. When photographing basketball, I usually like to sit on the baseline close to the basket. This way I can see the faces of the players as they come towards me. I've tried a bunch of different lenses, and usually I have two cameras with two different lenses, one for action in my half of the court and one for action which is further away in the other half of the court. But I realize that not everyone can have two cameras, so let's talk about if I could only have one lens, what would it be? When I'm photographing basketball, it's indoors, so faster lenses with wider maximum apertures will make a big difference. I usually need a shutter speed of around 1/800th of a second, but I will shoot faster if I can, if there's enough light and I don't have to push my ISO too high. Also, I really like a zoom lens, so a zoom lens is going to give me a lot of flexibility with my composition. To me, the obvious first choice when it comes to a lens is the 70-200 f2.8. It's a great lens for fast action. There's a lot of options out there when it comes to this focal length. Most camera manufacturers make their own version of this, but there's also some third-party options available. But for me, this focal length is a bit tight, especially when I'm on the baseline and the players are close to me. So I tried out a 24-70 f2.8, but it just didn't have enough reach. I like the 24mm end for when people are close to the hoop, but I do need a longer lens when players are out at the three-point line. So I ended up buying a 24-120 f4. Now I lost a stop of aperture, but I like that longer focal length. It actually is a great lens if you're on a budget. You may have to push your ISO up a bit if you're in a dark gym. Then I discovered the Tamron 35-150 f2 to 2.8. It's a beauty of a lens. It's super fast. It's f2 at the 35mm end and 2.8 at the 150mm end. It is great for capturing action on my end of the court. If someone's close to the hoop, I can use the 35mm end. And if somebody's further out at the three-point line or even at the half line, I can capture images of them. It actually allows me to get some images on the other end of the court as well with a wider view. However, I do miss having the slightly wider 24mm focal length if I'm right under the hoop, but the speed and the wide-ranging focal length of this lens really makes up for it. The combination of focal length and aperture does come at a price. The Tamron 35-150 isn't a budget lens option. It costs about the same as a 24-70 f2.8, but for me it's worth it. In addition, it's a hefty lens. It weighs around 1,165 grams, which is about 2.6 pounds. So it actually is lighter than my 70-200, which is about 1,430 grams or 3.15 pounds. But it is something that I find that I can use all day without any problems. I'm a Nikon shooter and this lens is only available for the Z mount and not for my older F mount DSLRs. So that might be a factor for you. But you can also get this lens for Sony, but currently Canon shooters are out of luck. One thing I love doing with this lens is putting the camera low to the ground and getting a worm's eye view. The low angle is amazing for basketball, and the eye detection on my Nikon Z8 and Z9 do a great job of focusing. What about you? If you could only have one lens for basketball, what would it be? If you have any questions or thoughts, please share them in the comments below. If you like the content I'm creating, please consider subscribing. Thanks so much.